stage, co-featuring the Button Poetry Slam Champ. And I was like, dang, I gotta bring it tonight. So I have a little theme for tonight. It's called First and Favorites. Can y'all say first and favorites for me?
First and favorites.
So I'm gonna bring two of the first pieces that I wrote. I'll tell you like why they're, I guess, meaningful for me. And then I have two of my favorite pieces. So we're gonna start off. This piece is called Hands Up, Don't Shoot. I wrote this in like 10th grade. It was like a homework assignment for a friend. She was told to like write a poem. Got a whole bunch of vocabulary words from her African American Studies class. And she was telling me about it, and I was like, I like to rhyme. So can I do that for you? Yeah, I was actually doing other people's homework. And yeah, I came up with this. This is the first piece that I wrote and first piece that I ever performed on a stage as well. Segregation of the races, darker faces banned in certain places, majority minorities because of authorities can't win in court cases. We're living in the world with a white only win basis. There's no more fair game, I gotta get back to the basics, and I'm a patient, losing patience, sick and tired of time wasted. Take our name and misplace it, take our roots and retrace it. They do all these things, but it doesn't define our placement. King had a dream that he wake up from a living nightmare. Equal rights, we get the right pair, no longer harassed by police flashlight glares. Hands up, don't shoot, just give them a polite stare. That's all you can do in your life, they just might spare. Don't escalate it or you'll follow the light of flight stairs. Your life's ended that quick and we all know it's quite rare for a black who's truly innocent to win the fight wears. Hands wear it over someone who's white and gives only slight cares. Colored people could have so much more height, but ethnic prejudice stereotypes, always judging by our sight, have marked us as not bright. We can't read, we can't write. They put our hands behind our back, put more struggle in our fight. We've been put in a situation, can barely get an application. Through the trials and tribulation, experience too much humiliation. Waiting for a change, come join the conversation. No more discrimination, let's become an equal nation. Poem. Performing that piece at moments that are like milestones for me, and being at Smith that right now is a very big milestone for me. And I'm just really grateful to be in this space. Thank you again, Dwayne. When you threw that idea around in the beginning of the year, I was like, wee, wow. And I was excited about it. So thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Drew. And thank you, Willie Mammoth. And I'm probably forgetting some people, but yeah, it's a big moment for me. So yeah, I appreciate that. I'm gonna get right to the next piece. Oh, I do this thing with my features where I talk about my favorite line in the poem. It helps me get a little more intimate with the audience. So my favorite kind of more so stanza in that is the whole part where I'm like, King had a dream that he'd wake up from a living nightmare. Equal rights, we get the right pair, no longer harassed by police flashlight glares. I'm not gonna say the whole part, but yeah, that stanza is my favorite part. One is for the rhythm, like it sounds kind of cool, and also like just the meaning behind it. So yeah, I'm gonna get right into the next piece. It's gonna be another first. So this piece is called February 31st. It's the first piece I wrote after I came out. And it's also the first piece that I started performing on stage again and about a year and a half ago. And it is monumental because I probably wouldn't have started writing again if I didn't write this piece. We met on February 31st, a day I never thought would exist. This relationship was about a month and a half, but it brought out 23 years of hope unspoken, even to myself, and I miss every day of it. I miss her every day. About as much as you can miss somebody you never really got to know. I felt like I was an infant living in infinity. You took me back to that little girl that always felt like something was wrong with her. And for real, sometimes she still does. See, baby, or ex-baby, you told her she didn't have to love pink to be a girl. You said it's okay to not wear dresses if they don't make her feel comfortable. You said she could play sports with the boys and still be a lady if she wanted to, and that there was nothing wrong with wanting Marvel action figures instead of Barbie dolls for her birthday, baby. Well, ex-baby, the separation is torture, and I'm a masochist because I love thinking about us. I think about all the sex that we never had, and that vacation that we never went on. I think about all the gifts I got you for your birthday next year, and about meeting your friends that don't even know I exist. I still even miss the things about you that I want to know part of. See, ex-baby, right now, I would crave your bitchy attitude. Her words, not mine. She rolled her eyes like dice on a game board and got sevens every time. It was perfect. See, what you don't understand is the feeling of you next to me always meant something more than just skin touching affections. It was grace. It was validation. It was allowed, reciprocated, and celebrated. And I I told myself that wanting to experience this pure, natural joy was a problem, a character flaw. The battle going on for my beliefs in my heart was a silent death, and you helped me be born again, a resurrection. Can I be blunt with y'all? See, understanding my sexuality has been so complex, mostly because it's something I never thought was meant to be understood in the first place. Because according to the God I was worshiping, I was never meant to. And to be honest, I never felt like I could be loving God and myself at the same time. These were mutually exclusive, oil and water, a potion of poison for a destiny I've always wanted to avoid. So ex-baby, when I say I miss you, I think I mean I miss what you brought out of me. Or better yet, maybe what you allowed me to bring out of myself. A part of me that I always knew existed, but that I never actually allowed to live. You let her breathe. You gave her oxygen. See, I really never met that part of me before, because every time I heard her, I pretended like she never existed. And when the voices became too loud, I ripped out the eardrums and strangled them with the hangers in this closet. Yes, the separation is hard, and waking up is the hardest part, because now I'm just faced with myself, a mirror behind closed eyes. I see everything my family's ever told me, everything society tells you, and it's beginning to sound a lot like my own voice, and I can't distinguish the difference anymore, so now none of those things sound worse than the things that I tell myself, ex-baby. Your existence has been everything. And representation is so important, because sometimes the biggest statements have no words, and being with you was like a white noise with all the right expressions. And I appreciate every moment that I got to spend with you, because now I spend so much more time with myself, not judging, not hating, but living authentically. And I know I'm attractive, my body's nice, I'm active, I got hella skills and talents, and my poetry is immaculate. At least that's what my therapist tells me. Miss Annette says I'm well above average, and I could probably pull and bag all the fruits in a garden, but all these holes in my front lawn would never make the grass greener. It would never quench my thirst. They cannot replace what I feel like I'm missing without you in my house, because you told me that the fruit was never forbidden in the first place. So now I put a painting in my living room, a table in this kitchen, the sheets on this bed with your scent in the fabric. They always say you never forget your first girl, and for now you'll never even know that poem exists about you. But I love to invite you back in one day so that I can say thank you for helping me build the home I'm living in. Now that I love myself. So that piece is called February 31st. Thank you. My favorite line in that is, so ex-baby, when I say I miss you, I think I mean I miss what you brought out of me, or maybe what you allowed me to bring out of myself. And that pretty much relates, the whole poem, I'm kind of going through the stages of me processing this quote-unquote breakup. It's a situationship, you know. But yeah, you know what I'm saying, it hit a little different. I was trying to figure out why it hit a little different, and I was realizing there was like a self-hatred aspect of it. So throughout the poem, I'm kind of going through like the religious trauma and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's February 31st. The next piece I'm going to get into is a favorite. Can y'all say favorite for me? Favorite. This piece is called The Flavor of Ink. Ooh, I told myself, this piece is about tattoos. I always do this piece with like a jacket on, and you can't see my sleeves. So.
Hey!
Come on, visual aid.
Okay, prop. Please stop. But yeah, this piece is called The Flavor of Ink. She said she wants to suck the tattoos out of my skin so that I can have a taste of what she's been through.
Oh my God!
Poem. No. She says she wants me to suck the tattoos out of her skin so that I can have a taste of what she's been through. Who knew there were so many different flavors of depression and anxiety? She said for me to understand her codes, I'm going to have to be a python. I told her, baby, you can count on me like Dracula, and we can do this without the lights on. She said, this is going to be deeper than just seeing her naked. So I peel below the epidermis to find out what kind of lemons has God tasked her with. Somehow when I look down into her face, all I can see are ceilings, and realize something has made her world a little backwards. Maybe that means that when she's talking at me sideways, she's just trying her best to meet me halfway. And I get it. I know that my ink tells stories. Ink as black as the holes that I get lost in. I'm constantly climbing out of puddles with the battlefields that I swam in, and I can't find any floaties that can fit on these arms, so I invite you to the gun show. I wear pieces of my heart on my sleeve, and my hugs could wrap you in the bullets that I bite on. I just call that fine dining now. And I invite you to have a seat at the table. You know, sometimes we call it ink therapy. You know, sometimes 4 legs are easier to sit on than standing with your own 2. And if you've ever been in that chair, what a healing wound is supposed to look like, she told me that she wants to suck the tattoos out of my skin because the flavor is all too familiar to her. It's nostalgic. Takes her back to memories she never learned how to forget, and now she just wants a partner to dance in her rain with, and now our taste buds are tap dancing with 2 left feet like the happiest penguin. See, we were never taught how to tango, but a slippery salsa is so much sweeter than solitude when you've been running away ever since you learned how to walk. She has an appetite for intimacy. I think she'd rather choke on my pain with me than have to swallow her own chew. It's crazy how sometimes it's easier to consume someone else's experience than digest our own. We're both famished to healthy snacking, because that's never been an option on the menu. And we may have to become our own chefs before we even have kitchens to make meals. Together we made calamari. The squid tastes better when we realize the ink can't hurt us anymore, which means we won't start hurting each other, which means we won't keep hurting ourselves. I told her that I feel naked without my ink, like a pen that never learned how to write and a poet that never learned how to speak in. Together we make poetry in many different forms and shapes and sizes and colors and tunes and textures. We're building architecture in our bodies as we help each other find our pieces, as we learn ourselves that we were never broken to begin with. Because even when the world tries to break us down, we know how to create our own art. And I think we do a damn good job expressing it. Poem. Yeah. What's a word? Goods? I don't know the word for it, but there's a good parallel, I guess, between tattoos and poetry. And there's a poetry to that art. So my favorite line in that is, she told me she wants to suck the tattoos out of my skin because the flavor is all too familiar to her. It's nostalgic. Takes her back to memories she never learned how to forget, and now she just wants a partner to dance in her ring with. So that whole piece is kind of actually about like trauma bonding and how we figure out that we would like relate to people, and sometimes that might be like the driving force in the relationship or whatever. So yeah, that's my favorite piece, The Flavor of Ink. The next piece I'm gonna do is called Bookmark. She makes the SAT look easy. Now it's hard for me to sit down. Now I need more letters in my alphabet just so I can get how. I need an extra P, H, and D just to learn more words to describe her. She brings the bachelor out of me because her fine arts make my degrees increase. Now there's more temperature in my atmosphere. I think I'm even smarter now that you got my atoms clear. I got a new ton. My brainstem is growing new branch of knowledge because my current lexicon would just not do her justice. The way I'm reading into you got me thinking God must have favorite genres, a derivative of vibranium, but nothing short of its sovereignty. She's just built different. I call her the grandest larceny because she can leave a poet speechless, like, baby, you take the art in me. On my knees, my greatest weakness, I'm picking up my pieces like a song without its harmony in. I could write about you all day, even if it meant I would only be your number 2 pencil. And now I'm taking notes like I study at Cornell. And I'm paying more attention than I've paid intuition. My intuition says, I bet she kisses like a golden Sharpie. Times New Roman, it's exponential. She makes me do this thing with my tongue, so now I speak with italics. I'm leaning on my accents, and now my sun, moon, and rising have to find a new atlas. And my fantasy, she calls me daddy. But she says it in cursive, because I tend to stay intertwined to her lines, even when there's supposed to be a space in between us. I'm an exuberant thinker. She makes me speak encyclopedias. I thank her and I would take her, and it would never get tedious to be with you or not to be who I am. That is the question that's marked by my existence. Got me reciting Shakespeare like that shit that don't make no sense sometimes. Like, I'm an Evergenius that's found the 69th law of thermodynamics. I count my seconds and sevens because time spent with you is perfection. I can feel her from a distance. My 4 eyes connect the dots when your eyes notice the freckles on my forehead. And if you look hard enough, it would cross on my T's because I can only take lowercase L's without you. I would never speak loud enough. You are the main focus and the peripheral, because trying to see my life without you in it is like trying to get the white out from around my pupils, yo. Pressure is permanent and your ink permeates my blank spaces, even when I didn't think I had much left to say. And I could Babylon all the way back in time to Babylon before language even existed, because you already even know what I'm talking about. But you make me feel like I have all the right words, and I would love to tell you all these great things about you, if I only had the courage to say anything at all.
Right.
That's everybody else's favorite line. I feel like that's the most simple part. Thank you. Our eyes connect the dots when your eyes notice the freckles on my forehead. And if you look hard enough, it will cross on my T's, because I can only take the lowercase L's without.
That was great. That was great.
So it's a play on dotting the I's, crossing the T's, paying attention to detail, and finding this person that like kind of completes you. So yeah, I have one more piece. I have time for one more piece. Cool. I'm gonna do this piece called Table of Conscience. This is I call it like a crowd favorite.
Okay.
Y'all have been a great audience, and I really appreciate the space to win. And yeah, I'm gonna get into it. So this piece is called Table of Conscience. Knowledge is power, and words are brain food, but when a book is as thick as fat ass a bowl of oatmeal, breakfast just becomes less important. Because let's be honest, we all just rather listen to an audiobook. We want to hear other people's stories. Or better yet, we want to hear other people tell our stories when someone else can't write your autobiography. I see funerals in these Roman numerals as letters take the identity of numbers. I see destruction of our voice that's coded before the book even starts, and see technically, Lord.
You got it all right now. You got it.
Korie.
Dang, I'm doing this again, Dwayne. I did this at that,
It's all good, breathe.
technically what? Dang, I really don't know.
Take your time, Cole.
What did I say before that?
Just run it back.
What did I say last? Knowledge is power,
Yes.
and words are brain food, but when a book is as thick as fat as a bowl of oatmeal, breakfast just becomes less important. Because let's be honest, we all just rather listen to an audiobook. We want to hear other people's stories, or better yet, we want to hear other people tell our stories when someone else can't write your autobiography. I see funerals in these Roman numerals as letters begin to look like numbers. I see destruction of our voice that's coded before the book even starts. Damn. It directs our dialect and puts enunciation into our accents. Our origins are made up of nouns, verbs, adjectives, prepositions, and predicates, but that is only a part of speech which leaves a hole in language, and I want to become whole in my own language. See, I'm a declarative, interrogative, exclamatory, complex, compound type sentence. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I have pages filled with commas because I don't know how to end things I'm not ready to let go of. I'd rather just run on, because sometimes a period is much more than just a dot. Sometimes it's that hole that I fall in again and again, like love with a stranger. Like love with a stranger I've known my entire life. Like the stranger I see in the mirror every morning. I feel like I have to get to know her every day because I still can't figure out how to read her. I can see her cover from a mile away. Call that eye-catching landscape, but I have words and phrases that even Google can't translate. And I'm learning that what's between these lines is not always a blank space. There's more to her. And see, while technically the glossary is at the back of the book, you must reach it by moving forward. We often get it confused with the appendix because we think we're worthless, just skimmed like weird milk, but there's always more to be found when you're looking for it like crosswords. No spelling bee could test this. I don't want to be placed in the metrics of this Dewey Decimal System. These are my stories, and I don't want a librarian to carry them. When I don't subscribe to the narrative of Webster or Merriam, I wasn't made for a library. I lie very comfortable on my own bookshelf. See, I've been caught up in using the media as an encyclopedia. I started getting greedy, but now I handle recipe manuals because I found out what that's really feeding you. At last, I grabbed the atlas and became a tourist, lurking in shadows behind bright screens. I made myself home as a visitor in everybody else's world beside my own. But by definition, if you're in a foreign country, you can never be native. Korie, know where your home is. Korie, love where your home is. Stop looking for what the soul is, because the best you'll ever become is a synonym, a mere derivative. Never the original copy. Never what you were designed for. The textbook definition of my God in the physical form, my existence, leaves you speechless. If a Microsoft leaves a red line under your name, stop auto-correcting it because it was never misspelled to begin with. Korie, Latte, Broadwater Allen, we are author and illustrator, and we write with utensils as sharp as our minds, chapters that capture pictures in motion, moving off the page. Ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems, the tape is rolling. Take one for yourself instead of always taking one for another team. We are now director, editor, and producer, and we bring life to the life that you want to live. This is your theater. and you are your own audience. Grab the popcorn and enjoy. We don't fall asleep during our own movies. Poem. Thank you all so much. It's been a great night. It's been a lot of good energy, and I really appreciate it. My favorite line in that piece is, and when Microsoft leaves a red line under your name, stop auto-correcting it because it was never misspelled to begin with. Thank you again for tonight. If you'd like to follow me, a couple more features coming up. It'll be at Korie is Latte, so that's at KorieIsLate. Thank you.